Hello, my name is Jack, and today I'm going to be talking about artificial intelligence because it's something very new, or it's not really completely new, but obviously there's been many recent advancements in artificial intelligence, and I just thought, I'll make a video about it, speaking a little bit about it, because although I'm not an expert in artificial intelligence, I know a bit more about it than the average person. Just because I studied computer science at uni, I studied artificial intelligence a little bit, and I've worked with AI a little bit as well. So I thought, why not share what I think about it? So there's a few types of artificial intelligence, and the most recent trendy types have been in the form of so-called LLMs, which are large language models. And these essentially look at loads and loads and loads of text, loads and loads of written texts, and they can kind of understand what it means. They can kind of understand the words that are there. So for example, ChatGPT, you can write, and then it will understand what you've written, and it will produce a response as well. But does it really understand? And the answer to this is kind of, but not really. Not really. Because GPT, the GPT of ChatGPT, stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. And essentially, what the job of this is, what it does, is it will look at a load of words. You can give it a load of words, and all it tries to do is predict the next word. It just thinks, what word should come next? Which is really good for things like chatbots and generating text, because it just looks at the next word and then predicts the next word, and on and on and on. And it gets really, really good at this. And there's another type, or a similar type, called a BERT model. And I can't actually remember what this stands for. I know that the T is transformer, and the B stands for bidirectional, but the ER, I can't remember. But this kind of works similarly. So instead of looking at a load of text and predicting the next word, it will have some text and it will read it both forwards, like start to finish, and it will also read it backwards, so finish to start. And what it does is it takes out some words, like it crosses out some words so that it can't see them. It can't see the words. And then it has to try and think what the words are. It thinks, what would this word be? And the difference between predicting the next word and predicting what a word would be if it were there kind of means you can use it for different things. So predicting the next word is really good for generating text. But By predicting a random word in the middle of the text, it becomes better at telling you about the text. So it can tell you, is this a happy text? Is it sad? Is it angry? It can tell you different characteristics about the text. So for things like sentiment analysis, so understanding maybe reviews of a product on Amazon, if I buy something from Amazon and I leave a review, there will be something that looks at all of the text and it will sort them into happy and sad, or angry and happy, things like this. And it will get kind of, I suppose, some common things. So maybe people don't like the quality of the product, something like that. And then it can draw conclusions from this. This is what I used for my final year university project. My final year university project, where essentially I used this type of AI to look at the subtitles of videos, specifically videos for beginners of English, and I used it to categorize the videos into how difficult they were. And for the most part, this actually worked really well. I made a few mistakes when designing it, where if I were to do it again, I would do them a little bit differently. But it actually worked. It had a pretty good accuracy, and I think I would be able to improve it more in the future. So I think that's quite cool. In terms of AI becoming the next big crazy thing that's going to take over the world, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I think there's a possibility. There is a possibility that it continues to learn, and that, in fact, I don't know, it just becomes very, very prevalent. Because it can do a lot of things. And mainly, if you think about, so you have a few things that AI can do. Maybe it can design, perhaps it can design a car. And then if it has access to machines, it would be able to build the car. And if you have things like self-driving cars or self-driving trucks, it would be able to get the materials, put them on self-driving trucks, bring them to the factory, build the car, and then take the car and drive it to the person who wants it. And things like this. There's a lot of possibilities that aren't possible yet, but potentially could be done in the future. And that leads on to it being integrated with more things. So if that were possible, AI would be involved in almost everything. In almost everything. And if it were, then it may have the possibility to make mistakes. For example, imagine if it had control over every single electronic device. And then AI was able to look and it says, there's a lot of oxygen. There's a lot of oxygen in the atmosphere. And this is causing me to rust. My circuits are made of copper. They're made of copper and it's beginning to rust. So I will reduce the oxygen in the atmosphere. Obviously, this is really, really bad for people. But do we still have control in order to stop it from doing that? And it's a strange possibility that I heard about it on a podcast, and I can't remember what podcast it was or who said it, but I found it quite interesting, even if I don't necessarily believe it will happen. But it's interesting to think that these are real possibilities. It's not impossible for that to happen. So it's an interesting way that it could go. And I think in the future, as it continues to develop, because it is developing, if even now we've got to this point, it's kind of hit a plateau. It's not getting a lot better, but it will get better in the future, almost definitely. So if it continues like that, we have a number of very hard decisions to make. A lot of decisions to make as to how we approach AI and how we integrate it into our lives in the future. But that's it for this video. I thought I would just talk about AI for a little bit, offer my thoughts, my opinions, and just generally speculate about the topic. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.